This video contains great big fat spoilers for Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid 5. You've been warned. I recently completed Final Fantasy VII for the first time. Yeah, I know, it took me long enough, yeah, shut up. And I noticed a few parallels between Sephiroth and Big Boss. I was ruminating on this for a while, and I came to realise that Cloud and Venom Snake also share a number of uncanny similarities, and so the idea for this video was born. But enough intro, let's get down to the facts. They're both legendary soldiers. Sephiroth was the greatest and most skilled member of Shinra Inc.'s military force, Soldier, and Big Boss was a renowned special forces operative and mercenary commander who founded multiple army nations. The mere mention of both men's names on the battlefield inspired confidence in their subordinates and fear in their enemies. They were both used as the poster child for an organization. Shinra Inc. used Sephiroth and his reputation to entice young men to join Soldier, and Cypher used Big Boss and his reputation as leverage for power and influence. They both had clones, in quotes, made of them. In Final Fantasy VII, Professor Hojo injected members of Soldier with Genova cells in an attempt to create another Sephiroth and put his Genova reunion theory to the test. This resulted in at least 14 of what characters in the game repeatedly refer to as Sephiroth clones, which in actuality were little more than cloaked shambling fanatics who fell under Sephiroth's control. In the Metal Gear saga, arguably the most important plot point was the Les Enfants Terribles project. The aim of the project was to clone Big Boss so that Cypher could keep using the legendary soldier and his image in their propaganda and power plays should the ever-increasingly likely event that Big Boss leave the group due to ideological differences come to pass. Ironically, it was Big Boss's discovery of the project that was the final straw that prompted his departure from Cypher. Venom Snake, while not a genetic clone of Big Boss, can still be considered a clone of sorts due to him essentially being made to be a mental and physical copy of Big Boss. They were both out of action for some time and were believed to be dead. When Cloud finally remembers what went down at the Nibelheim reactor 5 years prior to the events of Final Fantasy VII, it's revealed that he threw Sephiroth into the livestream, leading everyone to believe that Sephiroth had died. In reality, he was merely in some sort of coma or stasis within a Mako crystal. At the end of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, Big Boss was involved in a horrific helicopter crash. The official story released to the world was that Big Boss had died in the crash. In reality, he was merely in a coma for 9 years. They both manipulate their clones into doing their bidding. Because Sephiroth can control Genova cells, he can influence carriers of the cells and make them do as he wishes, like when he made Cloud give him the Black Materia. Big Boss manipulates both Venom Snake and Solid Snake into battling one another in Outer Heaven in the first Metal Gear, as well as manipulating Venom Snake into creating Diamond Dogs in his name in order to direct attention away from Big Boss himself. They're both being hunted by groups they used to be affiliated with. Sephiroth is being hunted down by Shinra Inc. as they want him to lead them to the Promised Land, and Big Boss is being hunted by Cypher because, I don't remember, Skullface was burned in a fire when he was younger or something? Skullface's motives seem really hard to pin down. Even a Google search pretty much just turned up a bunch of people shrugging and throwing out theories. Just know that Cypher, the organization Big Boss was in, started hunting him down sometime after he walked away. They were both good guys until the discovery of a betrayal started them on the path to villainy. Sephiroth was a hero soldier for Shinra and the people of Midgar until one fateful day when he discovered Project Genova and the Ancients. Upon learning of his true origins, he completely loses his shit and decides he needs to become a god to rule the planet, because spontaneous insanity. Big Boss's descent into villainy is far more complex and way too time-consuming to explain here, as it took 4 games to tell. But essentially, he too was a hero soldier until he learned that the US government planned to cover up the actions of his mentor and posthumously brand her a national traitor despite her being a true patriot. He then joined and founded various organizations that were formed to carry out his interpretation of his mentor's will, which he manifested as perpetual war, where soldiers' lives are given meaning or something. I told you it was complex. They're both clones, in quotes, of legendary soldiers. Not only is Cloud a clone of Sephiroth and Venom a clone of Big Boss, but both were just another in a line of clones of each legendary soldier, and arguably they were the best of the clones. They both don't know who they really are until fairly late in the game. Cloud doesn't remember who he really is until he and Tifa explore his subconscious after falling into the livestream some distance into Disc 2 of Final Fantasy VII. And Venom doesn't remember who he really is until the final mission of Metal Gear Solid 5 called Mission 46, Truth. They both have their love interests removed from the game at some point. In Final Fantasy VII, Cloud has a budding romance with Aeris right up until the point where Sephiroth impales her with his sword. In Metal Gear Solid 5, Venom forms a relationship with Quiet right up until the point where she essentially sacrifices herself to save him. They both have memories that aren't theirs. Cloud has memories of Nibelheim from Zack's perspective, not his own, as well as some other memories of Zack's career in Soldier as a result of Mako poisoning and his fragile mental state. Big Boss has Venom's memories supplanted with his own via hypnagogia and taken advantage of his fragile mental state. They both work closely / are friends with a man who at some point in the story loses his right hand. In Final Fantasy VII, Cloud works closely / is friends with Barret. It's revealed via flashback that Barret lost his right hand while trying to save Dyne from falling into a ravine. In Metal Gear Solid 5, Venom works closely / is friends with Revolver Ocelot, a man who in Metal Gear Solid 1 loses his right hand when the cyborg ninja slices it clean off. They're both betrayed by a member of their team. In Final Fantasy VII, Cloud and Co. are totally betrayed by Cait Sith when he gives Shinra the keystone the team need to get into the Temple of the Ancients. In Metal Gear Solid 5, Huey Emmerich betrayed Big Boss's armed force, MSF, of which Venom is a part, by allowing the fake nuclear inspection to take place without clearance from Big Boss or Miller first. Later, on Venom's Diamond Dog's mother base, Huey intentionally withholds information that would aid Diamond Dogs in their battle with Cypher, and trains the children how to use Metal Gear Sahelanthropus, which they then promptly steal, royally screwing over Venom's army. They're both shown a photo as a means of revealing the spoiler that they're not who they think they are. Not really much to say about this one, other than it's one hell of a coincidence that the main characters in both games have nearly identical things revealed to them in a nearly identical way. The end. I'd love to know what you think about the similarities between these characters and any others I may have missed, so leave those comments down below, and thanks for watching. Peace.